In the Asian culture, it's, I think, because of Buddhism, right? W- Asian or Laotian people seems to be a little bit more free in the way that we think, and I think it has kind of integrated into our culture. Is that Laos people don't really question people's sexuality much, and if we do see transgender people, we kind of understand who they are. But at the same time, when I was 6 years old, I was doing a traditional dance class, which is something that we do. It's called Fawn. Fawn is a dance class where we have a lot of hands movement. So we were practicing Fawn in at that time, and I was 6 years when I was 6 years old, and the my dance teacher were pairing the boys and the girls up together. And when she pointed to me and said, "Hey, go join that girl," something was, I questioned myself, which just was that, hey, I'm not I'm not a boy, you know? So why did you try to pair me up with this girl? So basically what came up to me was that she was trying to define me, and she did not know that, obviously. But for me, it was, hey, somebody was trying to tell me who I was, and it wasn't connected with the feeling that I felt within myself. So that was the first moment that I felt like, maybe something's not connecting here. And
And
that was, mhm.
how do you think that information or that sense impacted your grandparents, who you say were really hard on you?
Yeah. Well, it, it it continued to happen throughout my life, which is that, my grandmother would always look at me with like this sense of like, she was honestly not accepting me. And she didn't say that verbally, but I could tell by the way that she looked at me. She had always like looked at me with this like stare that made me feel like something was wrong with me. And my grandfather used to uh, physically hit me a lot. And as a kid, I didn't really understand why everybody was treating me that way, because all I knew was how to be myself. I felt a sense of self that I felt like I was just leading with. And then the world was pushing back against that feeling that I had inside. And so I didn't understand it until I've gotten older.
And so, how did that all play out as you entered puberty and adolescence?
To be quite honest, it has been a fight, and it still is,
Mhm.
which is that I will always lead with my emotion and my authenticity, because it has brought me wonderful experiences in my life, which is being able to speak at a TED Talk conference, being able to direct my own documentary, being able to write my own book, and being able to exist as me in this world is such a gift. And I I would never betray myself, because I think of it in a sense where, we all have very limited time on this earth, and time is finite, and I can't possibly give that away. And being able to exist authentically as who you are, and being able to show up as who you are, it actually reverberates through every part of my life. And it's a gift now, but it wasn't a gift then.
And
So
I think you have turned it into a gift with your attitude and your love for humanity. So, what was it like to leave your home country, arrive here, not have the language? I mean, what was that like for you?
it it didn't it didn't really it didn't really make sense to me at the time because my father passed away when I was 6 years old. And if you guys do watch my TED talk, it will explain a lot of what I had to go through as a child and as an immigrant. But I had to learn because I realized that all I had was my voice and what I had to say in this world. So what I had to learn was, well, what is it that I want to say? And honestly, I just read a lot of books, and I said, like, I can't I can't I cannot exist in this world without understanding who I am and being able to actually verbalize it into the world and standing strong with that. So
When you first got here, where did you arrive and who were you with?
yes, I was with my mother, and I arrived to Charlotte, North Carolina, and I it was a foreign place for me because I've never saw any other kind of people besides Asian people. So there I was surrounded by kids who looked nothing like me. And it was the first time that I saw American kids. So it was daunting, to be quite honest.
Wait,
It's
how
just
old were
a
you
lot.
at this point? How old were
I
you?
was 11 years old.
Wow.
11,
And
yes.
what was class like at school here vis-a-vis your feeling a sense of difference?
Yeah, some of the kids were very open and accepting, but some of them were not. I used to get rocks thrown at me. Girls used to corner me a lot when I was younger and pull my hair at the time. I just couldn't understand why people were rejecting me so much when all I wanted to do was be myself. It makes sense now because I think there's a sense that people were trying to cut me. Um, basically, basically, what it is, they were trying to stop me from being myself. And I think it's probably because of their own projection as well, which is that how are you so comfortable with existing in that way when that has been taken and beaten out of me when I was a
Mm,
child, and I wasn't willing to negotiate that.
that is fabulous. And I think your strength, I don't know where it came from. It doesn't sound like it was offered externally. I think you must have just developed all this within yourself.
Yeah.
And so this is probably a perfect point at which to give the prompt. I'm going to turn off the recording.
I do want to say one last thing, Sherry,
Please go ahead.
people here, which is that um, in this world and with the life that you have, there's nothing more beautiful when you get to create yourself and connect with yourself deeply and intimately. And when you do that, and you give yourself the permission to do that, it it echoes out into every part of your life. So if there's ever a moment where you feel like you are not enough, or the feeling that you have within yourself is not something that should be expressed, just please know
Mm,
that you exist for a reason, and the emotion that you have and the thoughts that you have within your mind is there for a reason.
mm.
So you should connect with that intimately and deeply. And when you do, everything else just become a gift, and it just comes naturally to you. And don't ever negotiate that with yourself or anyone.
And
So
you are really a gift. And I can't tell you how much I appreciate your being here today.
thank you for having me.
So we will see you throughout this salon, but
I'll
I'm
be here.
all right. I'm going to turn off the recording.